Welcome back to 101 Sports Talk. I am your host, the 101, Yano from Chicago. This episode is Chicago gives D Rose his flowers. Let's go. All right, y'all. Welcome back, man. I am your host, 101, the 101, Yano from Chicago, and this is 101 Sports Talk. Thank you guys for checking back in. Please, please, please bear with me. Please, my voice is going in and out. Been under the weather, but I definitely wanted to bring you guys a special episode um, dedicated to the legendary Chicago's own very own D Rose. Last night, the Chicago Bulls played the New York Knicks. The Chicago Bulls celebrated Derrick Rose with the 1-4-25 or 1-4-2-5 day or night, Derrick Rose night. Um, So if you didn't know anything about it, definitely gonna catch you up to speed on the game. The way that the Bulls um really gave him D Rose his flowers, to say the less. Uh, uh, but it was a special night, man. A lot of ex or former Chicago Bulls showed up to support this evening. We had Joakim Noah as one of the players that um spent some time with D Rose this weekend. They had an event that um, was to the fans in the Chicagoland area where D Rose opened up a pop up shop for the fans in the area that did want to come out and support and buy, dozens of roses, which I did see a lot of people on social media, on, Facebook, personal friends, um, Twitter, all over social media showing, people showed up and showed out. I guess it was a hit as far as like, a lot of people coming to support, which is good, man. Bringing the city back together, something positive, something to cheer for, something to be thankful for. Um, you know, take people down memory lane to those good old times back when he was, on the Bulls, and we were a um, franchise that were on the rise, and a competing franchise. So it was good to see his presence throughout the city, bringing people back to that reminiscent phase of yesteryear, and seeing people put smiles on people's faces. Again, supporting the Bulls organization. So it was really good to see, like I said, and Joakim Noah did have a little, it was a 20-minute, 30-minute clip out there of him speaking, showing old highlights between him and D Rose. And if you guys haven't checked it out, I'm pretty sure you can find it on the Chicago Bulls website, or on Twitter. It's even probably on YouTube at this point. But it was, it brought back a lot of good special memories, iconic moments, in the Bulls franchise. With that being said, man, let's get into some of the flowers that were given to D Rose here this past weekend. So this first clip, I'm gonna just go ahead and play. It was a short little tribute from a couple of his ex teammates, a couple former, players he went up against or former opponents, and their opinions and thoughts on D Rose. So let's get into that. Let's get in the first clip.
That's what I'm inspired about. You always put your city on your back, and you carried that with you. You're not only the MVP, You're not only the MVP, Pooh, you're the people's champ. You're the people's champ.
I'm thrilled for him for the career he had. I think he's Hall of Fame. There's no question in my mind. He's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, man. As you can see, a lot of people showed their respects to the icon, to the Chicago legend himself, D Rose. It was great to see, man. This was like a retirement party for him. They let him know, like, hey, thank you for your time served here, for those beautiful years that you did play, for the city of Chicago and what you represented. So it was good to see that, man, and see some of his former teammates come out and show support. Even shout out to the New York Knicks for allowing that ceremony to happen and take place. That was a classy move. To be also hold that for him, allow the NBA to let him have that moment. You know, it was well deserved, man. If you just check, D Rose's track history, over the years, you know what I mean. Some people say maybe a huge a Hall of Fame future candidate. Youngest MVP still ever. To win the MVP. 3-time NBA All Star. FIBA world champ. So he's won or been successful, had a successful basketball career, took him a long way, a lot of places, different organizations over the years. He went to New York originally, got traded to them, then he went to Cleveland, and he left Cleveland, and then he had that stop in Minnesota for a couple years, then he went to Detroit. After he left Detroit, went back to the Knicks for a good little stint to kind of round out his career, and solidify things. And even this past weekend, through some of the interviews, he talked about, like, towards the end of his career, he was doing it more so to for his kids, because they were used to that professional lifestyle of him being a basketball player. And with his son PJ, that's all he's known his whole life, is just being around his dad, being in the NBA. And that's as we all know, if you know his son, or familiar with the AAU circuit, or see anything high school or basketball sports related, I'm pretty sure you've seen one of his little mixtapes or something like that. Like, yeah, the kid, he's been playing since he was young. So he just admitted that it was just to kind of keep that relationship, or that bond together, of having that, seeing it, that professional work ethic every day, and showing them what it takes to get there, and what it's all about. So it was good to see, man. Really good to see. But I do want to get into just a couple more things on the D Rose night, man, that I want to share with you guys. The main thing was the Bulls did come out with a huge victory. You know what I mean? This was a big win against the Knicks, who are, right now one of the more dominant teams in the Eastern Conference. Zach LaVine had 33 points. Kobe White came out and showed out. He showed up to the party. He had 33. Gucci Mane did his thing too. He had a couple. I think he ended up with a dub. Ended up with more than 20 points, of course. Yeah, man. So they came out. They played inspired ball. The first half was a little bit shaky. I think they went into halftime like 63-72. The Bulls came out in the second half like kind of inspired, and they rallied in the third and ended up outscoring the Knicks, 31 points to about like 13 or something like that. So they had a really good quarter where they kind of turned it on. Kobe White was very aggressive. He found his rhythm. Josh Giddey almost messed around and had a triple double. So everybody kind of put their little 2 cents in for the win. And after the game, a lot of players was saying how important this game was for them just to get this win for D Rose, which you love to hear. You know what I mean? So not only has D Rose inspired a lot of other players around the league. I seen an interview with like Amon Shumpert saying just how growing up, he being from the West Side, D Rose being from the South, uh, or them going to different schools and different neighborhoods, he would hear about him and him being a class underneath him. He didn't even get a chance to play his idol or a rival until they kind of made it to the league, but he would always kind of like, use him as a measuring stick, like, man, keeping his eye on him or whatever. But he said when he finally got to the league and played him, man, he was just like, the dude was just like so humble. He's so quiet and he just like, just a killer, just a straight killer. And a lot of players had that to say about D Rose, man, about his career. It's just like he had that killer instinct in him. That's why Kobe messed with him. It's because they just knew like he was there for business. Like, D Rose every night was gonna give it to you, man, or he was gonna bring it. You didn't have to worry about his effort. You didn't have to worry about him being prepared at all. And seeing his growth as a player over the years was something special to watch. Unfortunately, due to a lot of severe injuries in his knee or knees, it cut his or robbed him of more of a probably illustrious career. And I'm not just saying that out of favoritism of being from Chicago as well. A lot of people definitely feel that way as one of the more higher profile athletes to be robbed of their career or trajectory of their career based on injury. But with me giving my respects to D Rose as well, like I said, I did run across a few other things here, man, just going on D Rose night and how much that he was celebrated. I'm gonna just drop a couple more videos here throughout the end of this video, just showing you some of the other love and respect that was given to D Rose outside of the events of the flower pop-up shop, the whole night event itself. And how the Bulls tried to, make this a special event for D Rose. So here I'm gonna drop a couple of the other moments here in 2020, 2025, moments that we just look back and reflect on D Rose's career or his impact. So I'm gonna drop this for you. Let's go.
Derrick, pretty sure had 28 off the bench. Probably had 26 of that on me.
I used to go at him, like really hard, like go at him. While like I'm going at him, I'm telling him don't back down. Like you got to keep fighting. Even though I'm scoring on you, you have to keep fighting.
I remember after the game, him just coming up to me and just kind of like laughing and said, "We're not to quit." And you need that mentality to be around here.
He understood that, like, all right, it's gonna be a moment, like later on down the line, where the student becomes the teacher one day.
That was my welcome to NBA moment for sure.
Over schemes, matchups, who's guarding who, and they like, all right, P, you got D Rose. Wait, what? I just started playing.
And it's your first playoff.
Like, y'all trust me guarding the MVP? So I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'll take the challenge. It was crazy, like, matching up with him and seeing him in front of me. Because I'm not going to lie, like, that year, bro, he was untouchable. And I felt I played good against him, and I look at the box score, 40. God damn, I thought I was on this today. That series took me deep into my career in terms of like, all right, if I can guard him, I can match up with anybody. I've never seen anybody else other than Ja. I've never seen anybody else that had that ability. He just had ability to just off a trampoline and just he'll punch that motherfucker on you too.
So I remember, so before the game, D Rose like, man, you playing tonight? I'm like, nah, probably not. And then I went in there, I got ready to go, then my foot was really hurt, I couldn't play. So I came back in the line, I'm like, damn, I can't play, man, something really wrong with my foot. D Rose was like, don't worry about it, I'm going for it. I was like, going for what, nigga? He was like, I'm going for it. I was like, what? He's like, 50, I'm getting 50 tonight. D Rose, I'm telling him about bench, D Rose, he getting 50 tonight. And then one nigga was like, you ain't getting it with Cat out there? Shit, Cat ain't letting that go. It's like, shit, that nigga started that first quarter off, he had like 12. We like, nigga might get 50. Niggas starting like, oh, he might get this shit for real. He keep killing. He hit Rudy Gobert with some crazy ass shot. We like, oh shit. So when he get up to like 40 and shit, it's like, nigga, we all start getting emotional. Nigga, the whole team, we in the middle of the game. We about to win the game. The whole team just start crying. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm shit coming down my eye, but I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is going on? It's like God making everybody cry.
All right, guys. Hey, so y'all heard, what I'm saying, some of the, players, current players, former players, opponents, former teammates, opinions and thoughts on D Rose, on, his legacy, man, or just, on how, good of a player he was when he was in the NBA, man. I think that, his career, some people say and questions say he may not make the Hall of Fame. Some people say he may. You know, in my opinion, I think he is a Hall of Famer. That's not just because I'm a homer. Or I'm from the same city, but just seeing his definite impact on the game, man. Sometimes it goes beyond numbers, and just what you do from a statistical standpoint, but sometimes it goes by like how you influence not only your opponents, your franchise, um, but also like the the actual sport itself. You know what I mean? I think a lot was. A lot of people was looking for athletic guards, people that can actually, be explosive at the point guard spot and be productive. You know what I mean? I think it was some, players in the past that may have not made it or been successful at it, I should say, at merging the two. And, he was definitely one of them, if not the most explosive point guard to ever play, and that's just not my own opinion. That's, a popular opinion. But with that being said, man, just giving D Rose his flowers once again, man. Um, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend, man, to be a Bulls fan. They got a win against the Knicks. Um, a lot of the players, on the current team right now, show their respect as well to the legend. Zach LaVine. Dalen Terry, he even wears the number 25 because of D Rose himself. So, I see he was rocking the old D Roses from back in the day. Like I actually had those too in black. Yeah, I think he was wearing the gray and red ones. Um, but yeah, man, special moments, bro. Seeing him being celebrated, just taking you back to a special era as a Bulls fan, man. That we're hoping to get back to one of these days, man. You know, just taking us back, even that series against Indiana. Paul Pierce talking about how it was guarding him, man. I don't know if you guys remember, how tough a guy that was. Man, he was on a tear, bro. A lot of people did not want to see the Bulls at all just because of him, because he caused such a matchup problem. He too big for the smaller guys, too quick for the bigger guys. And then he's just explosive, so you can't play back at all. And then once he got his little jump shot, got that mid range, found that shot, man. His game went to a whole different level. Cause he can pass. That was what I was getting to. He was a passer. Was a willing passer, I could say. He wasn't John Stockton or Steve Nash, but definitely had some highlight passes in his career. He did definitely had some moments where he was on the other end of some good passes. But yeah, you had that series. You had his rookie year when they played Boston. Um, he went at Rondo, went at Kevin Garnett, went at Ray Allen. Um, so he went at that team. He had the Bulls competitive in the Eastern Conference, man, and had a lot of big moments. I remember the shot he hit over Brandon Jennings. The little fadeaway. Crossed him up. Hit him with the little fadeaway. Like he had a lot of big moments. He had the series against the Cavaliers. Right before they broke the team up with Jimmy Butler and Paul Gasol and all of them, Boozer. When he hit the shot against the Cavs, we had went up. In that series, and it was really close to maybe changing the history of his career, staying with the Bulls a little bit longer. Who's to say? But things happen for a reason, for sure. But it was a nostalgic moment, seeing all of the old former players come out, seeing the old highlights and stuff like that, and it was great to see. With that being said, man, I would like to hear from y'all this time. Hey, y'all drop down in the comments if you got to this point. Definitely want to hear from y'all. Comment. What was your favorite moment throughout D Rose's career? What was some of your memorable moments? Did you ever go into any games, basketball games, or ever met him in person? Come on, shout yourself out and let us know what moments you remember the most about D Rose, so we can give him his flowers. So once again, I'm your host D101, Yano from Chicago. This is 101 Sports Talk. Peace.